We focused on the punt return. I mean, the punt block and the key moments, but there were other things that kind of got lost in the shuffle, like what an amazing job DeMeco Ryans did. And I think we should probably give him some props, because if we don't do it today, we'll never do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're kind of like the cleanup hitter in this lineup when it comes to this. You know, we got the bases loaded with a lot of cool information. But I guess we'll start with DeMeco Ryans then.
I think we should.
Yeah, he one of the things that in the Dallas Cowboys game, for instance, and it really lit up the commentators. They really noticed it. It was his late adjustments to what Dak Prescott was doing, like guarding the sidelines and the middle and not getting them in the right order and things like that. And it just, DeMeco looked a little bit lost in that game. So I'm always a little bit concerned when I see that. But, even the best of us make mistakes, and it's kind of how you adjust week to week. And in this particular game, I do think the 49ers, like the Rams, do have Aaron Rodgers' numbers. But at the same time, DeMeco Ryans and his defense got absolutely run over. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was on pace to hang at least 35 points in that game. And the way that DeMeco in a single drive was able to adjust his coverage, bring help over the top. And to be honest with you, he could have done a whole lot better had Jimmy Ward not been, watching somebody on the sidelines during two of the plays. Remember where he was like looking at the running back while the receiver came right at him? And that's where those big completions came. So DeMeco did even better than we saw. And of course, that's something that he's going to go to Jimmy Ward about and say, hey, clean this up. And like from one week to the next, it will. So it's not just DeMeco who gets better. I think it's the players around him on his defense. My guess is he's really good in film review. His film study has to be something I would love to sit in on.
Yeah, I mean, I was so impressed. Like, on the first drive, you're thinking, oh, he has no plan to stop Davante Adams, just like the first time the Niners.
And he brings help on the next drive. Exactly.
The next drive. And I was thinking, he's going to have to figure this out at halftime, right? He's going to have to make some serious adjustments at halftime. And boom, he did it on the second drive. And it was almost like, were you sandbagging the Green Bay Packers? Like, did you just go real vanilla on the first drive and just see what like their plan was for Davante Adams and go, okay, now we're going to show you? It seemed like they were prepared. It's all of a sudden on the second drive, you had all these different exotic ways to double team. I was looking, you could see from the press box, and you would say it would look like, oh, you got one-on-one Davante Adams. It's like baiting him, and all of a sudden everything would shift out, and you'd have all these brackets and stuff. That's what it looked like this. But I'm just saying, DeMeco was prepared, and it almost seemed like he was like, I'm not going to show it on the first drive. I'll concede a touchdown. All that almost cost him the game because the Niners offense didn't score, and we're going to talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, he was prepared from the second drive on. It was masterful.
It was, and it's a really good thing that he did not make the halftime adjustments that most teams make, because had he allowed one more score, nobody would want to hear this show, because this would be Wednesday after the defeat and everyone else has already had their say. So it'd be painful by now. So DeMeco did, it was a do or die situation. It was very clutch what he did. But the thing I loved it most is that he took a dimension away from the Packers offense. And it's a dimension that the 49ers will have to take away from the Rams. And it's something that DeMeco did really well. And that was to disguise his help over the top. And I think that's actually what got Jimmy Ward out of position. Jimmy Ward was used to playing a particular scheme where he is seeing if the running back comes out of the backfield. But in this adjustment, DeMeco wanted Ward to keep his eyes on Davante Adams or whoever was coming out of the receiver positions. And that was just really well done to disguise his help over the top. And I feel like DeMeco wasn't just playing coverage, he was playing for interceptions as well. And I feel like that the Aaron Jones completion, had Jimmy Ward been in position, he could have either deflected it or maybe even made a play on the ball.
I agree. Yep, I agree.
So this game, honestly, should not have even... Now, Jimmy Ward redeems himself, but it wasn't a situation we should never be in. And it's just those little things we can clean up. And so DeMeco really did even better than what this game shows.
I mean, it's clear. Look at how much better he did the second time against the Packers than he did the first time against the Packers. I mean, that shows a guy who learns from his mistakes and improves. The one thing I want to point out, though, that worked in the Niners' favor was Marquez Valdez-Scantling didn't play. And he's not super important, but without him, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he completed a pass to a wide receiver other than Davante Adams. And once DeMeco figured out that was the only wide receiver he had to worry about, and he didn't
hit Lazard once.
maybe once, one
I
time.
think it was once. Yeah,
Lazard one time, but basically it was like.
but I get you. Yeah,
Adams, all he's going to throw to was Jones, and that's not a passing attack. So DeMeco did do a good job, but there's another reason why he did so much better against the Packers this time than last time. Because, I mean, Rodgers was throwing to like two guys most of the game, pretty much.
I think DeMeco Ryans is really good at figuring out when an opponent's defense is going to force the ball. And actually, it's something the Cowboys, I thought, did really well. They didn't force the ball to CeeDee Lamb. That surprised me a little bit. Some people thought they should have. So in this Packers game, it seems like if you're going to force the ball to someone, DeMeco is really good at saying, okay, fine. You want to beat me with your other 4 or 5 skill players? Go ahead.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Blankets from you. And that is what I think. That's one reason why I think the Niners are so good against Rodgers and against the Rams, because they have feature offensive weapons. I think the Rams have more. But
but it's still cut.
Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, that's the number 1 and 2 right there.